Larry Fink, head of the world's largest asset manager, identifies tokenization as the structural shift defining the next generation of global markets. Just as email replaced physical post offices with a direct digital protocol, high finance is shifting from human brokers to peer-to-peer ledgers. Without an intermediary, settlement happens in seconds, replacing the weeks required for a clearinghouse. By removing the middleman, the technology returns direct control and ownership to the individual user, effectively automating the trust that used to be sold by banks. This same logic of removing the middleman is now being applied to global governance. For centuries, we have relied on a small group of political brokers to manage the most critical decisions of human survival. Established in 1945, 5 specific nations granted themselves permanent veto power over the planet, creating a centralized bottleneck for global action. In 1971, this centralization tightened. By severing the world's reserve currency from the gold standard, the system transitioned into a model of infinite paper debt, a tool used to extract wealth from citizens through inflation. We live with the physical consequences of centralized control. Because 5 nations can veto peace and a handful of banks fund war, ordinary people are left to pay the price in devastated cities and devalued savings. This word cloud illustrates a system failure cascade. It maps out how economic inequality, climate gridlock, and systemic corruption are not isolated accidents, but the interconnected symptoms of an outdated global operating system. Our current global governance functions like a 19th century post office. It is slow, opaque, and allows a few handlers to intercept the sovereignty of 8 billion people. The Future World Platform, or GAIGS, proposes bypassing this broken matrix entirely. It replaces the top-down hierarchy of the state with a decentralized global network. The foundation of the system is decentralized blockchain voting. It allows 8 billion individuals to cast direct, verifiable votes on both local and global policies, removing the need for a political representative. Cryptographic ledgers ensure that every vote is tamper-proof and publicly verifiable. In this architecture, election rigging and the unilateral veto are rendered mathematically impossible. This shift transfers legislative sovereignty from the broker back to the individual, ensuring that the direction of the species is determined by the collective will of the populace. To prevent the misuse of resources, the platform incorporates live financial tracking. Every tax dollar or public donation is recorded on a blockchain ledger, making the flow of public money visible to everyone. This level of transparency disables the primary engine of political corruption. It becomes impossible to hide stolen funds or award secret contracts when the entire community has a real-time view of the ledger. An AI-assisted wisdom layer supports this process. The AI translates massive data sets and legislative jargon into clear policy summaries, allowing citizens to make informed choices based on factual projections rather than political slogans. This empowerment reverses the goals of the legacy education system, which was designed in the 19th century to produce obedient, unthinking factory workers and clerks. The platform replaces that rote learning with scientific gamification. Students worldwide use interactive simulations to collaborate on real-world challenges in medicine, energy, and space exploration, earning recognition through their contributions to actual research. By combining public financial transparency with a scientifically literate populace, we build a society that is structurally immune to the manipulation of an elite class. In this system, no single nation can unilaterally fund a war, and algorithmic transparency prevents central banks from engineering debt cycles that trap developing nations. Centralized power structures fail predictably as they grow too complex for human management. The crises we see today are the inevitable result of trying to run a 21st century world on 18th century logic. The simultaneous maturity of the internet, artificial intelligence, and blockchain provides a technical method to dismantle the 300-year cycle of elite control. While empires rely on centralized financial and bureaucratic pipes to exert power, these tools allow humanity to route around those pipes entirely, making the veto of a superpower irrelevant in a decentralized economy. You no longer have to participate in a rigged matrix that extracts your time and your wealth. You can choose to opt out and join a network where your voice is verified by code, not permitted by a politician. We are no longer waiting for a political savior to change the system. We are deploying the architecture that makes the old system obsolete.